Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. In a help session with my Tech Know Quilter group the other day, we were talking about how we made blocks interact together and work together. And in going through that, I actually did another quilt using one of the blocks from the Panel Quilt webinar. So in this blog post, I decided to share how to make a coordinated two-block quilt. After opening the Panel Quilt project, you can see if you view your project sketchbook and are on the Quilts tab, those were the 3 quilts designed during the webinar. We're going to be using one of the pieced blocks for the border. No problems if you missed the webinar, as I will give you a picture and show you the setup for drafting that pieced block. On the home screen, select Design a Quilt from Scratch and select a new quilt horizontal. On the Layout tab, because I'm going to use alternating blocks, I want an odd number. So I'm going to set the number horizontal and vertical at 5. Since the pieced block would be easiest pieced at 8 inches, set the width and height at 8. Then I'm going to go to the Design tab and select Set Block, and I'm going to locate the block that I decided to work with. With the Alter Options key, click on the space in the upper left corner, and that will set the block in every other square. Now I want to design a second block that works well with this one. So what I'm going to do is right-click on the block and select Edit Block. Then I'm going to convert selected segments to guides so I can see the block as I'm drafting the alternate one. Before I do anything else, I want to make sure my block width and height are set at 8, snaps are set at 8, and snapping options are just snap to grid. Then with the line tool, I'm going to draw horizontal and vertical lines at 3 and 5 inches. Notice how that's going to coordinate with the block that I already have in my quilt. Select the Color tab, and it even remembers the fabrics. Obviously they're not in the right spots, but I can use the eyedropper to find the fabrics and do some recoloring and add to sketchbook. Then on the quilt work table, I'm going to scroll to the end, find the latest block, and with the Alter Options key, select one of those alternate spaces. Now, I do need to adjust the coloring just a bit, so I'm going to go to Fabric Tools. With the eyedropper, I'll locate the red in the alternate block, and with the Alter Options key, recolor 2 of the patches in the first block. And then I'm going to go to Borders. I'm going to just change this to a mitered binding, change the size to a 1/2 inch, go back to Design, use the eyedropper to find a coordinating fabric for the binding, and with the controller command key, select the border. Then hide show quilt patch lines and add to project sketchbook. Then I thought it would be fun to try to play with a border for this quilt. So I will go back to the Border tab, select Add, and now in the ribbon toolbar, select the style Tile Square. In Tile Squares, every one of the blocks is a square, and EQ will add a spacer to get things to fit. For a smaller border, scroll down and increase the number of blocks in border. I decided on 14. The square blocks plus the spacer total 3.5. Select the Design tab. Using the paintbrush, color one of the square border blocks along with the spacer. Select Print and Export. Click on the square, note the size is 3 inches, and click on the spacer and note the height is a 1/2 inch. To eliminate the spacer border, go to the Borders tab and click on border number 1 and increase it by the size of the spacer border. so we're going to change them from a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. We're also going to change the size to a long horizontal. Notice our spacer goes away, and the size of the tile square border is 3 inches. Select the Design tab, and now I'm going to design a block for that 3-inch square. So on the block work table, I'll do a new block, Pieced Easy Draw, set the block width and height at 3 by 3, set the snaps at 6 by 6, and I am going to make sure Snap to Grid is the only one turned on, and I'm going to clear the guides. Then with the Grid tool, I set at 3 by 3, I'm going to drag a grid from the upper left to lower right corner, go to Color and back to Draw, and with the Pick tool, I'm going to delete the right vertical line in the first row and the left vertical line in the second row. Select the Color tab. With the paintbrush, color the 2 corner patches with one background and the other 2 corner patches with another background. Color the diagonal squares with a medium blue and add to sketchbook. With the spray can, replace with a dark blue and add to sketchbook. Select the quilt work table, and now under Set Block, you will see the most recently drawn block. Right-click and select Split Coloring, and now you will have a separate rendition for the dark blue and the light blue. Select the block with the light blue, click on the 2 first blocks in the top border, skip 2 blocks, and then click on the next 2 blocks, and continue to do that for all 4 borders. Ignore the corners. Select the block with the dark blue and click on the other 2 spaces in each of the 4 borders. Use Rotate, and we're going to adjust the rotation so the light blue backgrounds are on the outside and the white is on the inside. With Fabric Tools and the Controller Command key, color the inner border and the cornerstones. And let's add another border. So go to the Border tab, select Add. Let's make this a 3-inch long horizontal. Go back to Design, and under Fabric Tools, use the Controller Command to color that. Hide Show Quilt Patch Lines, and add to Project Sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoy experimenting with the 2-block concept from the video. If you are just starting to explore electric quilt, check out my introductory class, Shoot for the Stars with EQ8. Or if you're ready for a deeper dive, check out the Tech Know Quilter membership.